As the 2020 presidential election ramps up, the struggling U.S. Postal Service has become a flashpoint of controversy.
Frankly, we have little faith that they're not trying to politicize the post office, and we need language and legislation to prevent that from happening.
They need that money in order to have the post office work so it can take all of these millions and millions of ballots. Now, if we don't make a deal, that means they don't get the money. That means they can't have universal mail-in voting. They just can't have it.
The president sparked concern among lawmakers and voters for suggesting that he'd oppose USPS funding to hurt mail-in voting. Millions of Americans will use the Postal Service to cast their vote amid the coronavirus pandemic, but now many are left wondering if their vote will be counted. The Postal Service, once thought of as a backbone of the American Republic, has been financially battered to the brink of bankruptcy just as the pandemic has taken hold. But the agency's financial woes have been mounting for decades as it struggles to navigate a capitalist marketplace as a government service. The USPS as we know it today was created in 1971, but the earliest version of our postal system started in 1775 when Benjamin Franklin was appointed the first Postmaster General. Over the course of nearly 250 years, the Postal Service strengthened the nation's connections from cities to rural towns as it helped expand the development of roads to link post offices. Stagecoaches, steamboats, railways, and airplanes were all eventually used to deliver the mail. As of 2019, the post office was operating over 31,000 retail locations and employed more than 600,000 people. But funding has always been a challenge for the government agency. As of its most recent financial disclosure in 2019, the agency reported financial losses for 13 consecutive fiscal years.
The Postal Service is self-funded. We pay for our operations through the sale of postal products and services and do not receive tax revenues to support our business.
Despite its storied history, the 21st century brought a new series of hurdles for the Postal Service. As internet and email communications became the norm, the volume of first-class mail fell by 25% between 2000 and 2010. From there, it declined even further.
Over the past decade, first-class mail, which makes the greatest contribution to covering the cost of our networks, declined by 36%.
The rise of private sector competition for mailing parcels has delivered a blow to the post office.
One of the things the post office loses so much money on is delivering packages for Amazon and these others.
Trump has pinned some of the blame for the post office's financial struggles on Amazon, which he has previously said does not pay its fair share for the bulk of the postal service it uses. In 2020, the COVID-19 crisis walloped the U.S. economy, and for the already struggling Postal Service, then Postmaster General Megan Brennan warned it could bring bankruptcy. In May 2020, Republican fundraiser and Trump ally Louis DeJoy was appointed the next Postmaster General. The political donor took over and announced a range of operational and procedural changes.
The new Postmaster General has come in soon after he got there. He doesn't know much about the inner workings of the Postal Service. And he's implemented a number of policies that can't do anything but slow down and delay mail-in.
On August 18th, DeJoy suspended the cost-cutting initiatives until after the election in an effort to, quote, avoid even the appearance of any impact on election mail. DeJoy has come under scrutiny for his financial ties to a contractor company that processes mail for the USPS, as well as his stock purchases in Amazon. In a statement to ABC News about the XPO holdings and other ethics concerns, DeJoy denied any wrongdoing, saying, I take my ethical obligations seriously, and I have done what is necessary to ensure that I am and will remain in compliance with those obligations. Meanwhile, President Trump has leveled numerous attacks on the validity of mail-in voting while offering little evidence for his claims.
Again, absentee voting is great. You request, I'm an absentee voter, but now they want to send in millions and millions of ballots. And you see what's happening. They're being lost, they're being discarded, they're finding them in piles. It's going to be a catastrophe.
In July 2020, the USPS sent election officials in nearly all 50 states warning letters, saying that mail-in ballots may not be returned by mail in time to be counted. As the controversy over mail-in voting swirled, images of the iconic blue USPS drop-off bins being removed in cities across the country went viral, fueling more anxiety and confusion. A spokesperson for the USPS said these removals were part of routine efforts to identify seldom used collection boxes, but said it will halt removals for 90 days because of customer concerns. Meanwhile, much needed funding for the USPS has been included in the next COVID-19 relief bill, which has stalled as lawmakers struggle to agree.
We're going to make sure that the ability to function going into the election is not adversely affected.
They want to stop this because it removes obstacles of participation to voting, and they're afraid of the voter. They're afraid of the American people.